We recommend listening to the CW Pod with a glass of Steeple Ridge bourbon. Grown, distilled, well-rested, and bottled in Erling, Iowa. Now from the Channel Seed Studios, this is the CW Pod, fueled by Steeple Ridge.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Iowa Everywhere. My name is Chris Williams. Welcome to CW Pod. We are presented, as always, by our friends at Steeple Ridge Bourbon. Head on off to the Lonely Oak Distillery in Erling, Iowa. Beautiful little road trip for you on a Saturday afternoon. Say hello to Pat and his wonderful family, and more importantly, buy a bottle of Steeple Ridge. They make the best whiskey, not only in the state of Iowa. It's my favorite whiskey. So good. It doesn't even matter what variation you get. It just works. They do a great job. And they're a longtime supporter of what we do. And Pat's a dear friend, really good supporter of everything we are up to here at Iowa Everywhere. And snap me a little picture, send me a little picture on Twitter, something like that, when you guys buy yourself a bottle. I always like to see it. I'm writing a book right now, and I know some of you maybe don't even know that. Some of you are probably tired of hearing about it, but I've been working on this book for about 3 years, and I'm nearing the conclusion of it. And I'm at a point right now where I'm writing about some old school type coaches, which is where the inspiration for this week's monologue came. A lot of Dan McCarney, obviously, in this book, a man who has had a great impact on my life, and a lot of Mike Leach. And you guys hear me talk about Coach Leach all the time. But I got to thinking this weekend about something, and you hear us complain about it a lot. You complain about it a lot. And it's about how all of the coaches these days are so damn boring. They say, especially the two in our state, right? Matt and Kirk are very likable humans. They're good men. We all like them as people. They don't say anything interesting in their press conferences for the most part. Sometimes they will when it's the football stuff, but it's not like the old days. You know, I grew up in a Big 12, and I'm going to tell you why. Actually, I know why. I was thinking about it this weekend. I'll tell you exactly why. But let's set the table here first. Because I grew up in a Big 12. Like, the first crop of coaches that I covered were, so Gundy, right? So he was always super interesting. You had Leach, you had Dan Hawkins, Mark Mangino, Rick Neuheisel for a while, Mac Brown, Dan McCarney. I know I'm forgetting some. Bill Snyder was always kind of a snoozer. But you see where I'm going with this, right? You had these dudes who would say anything. You had no idea where it was going. They were hilarious. They didn't care. And it was just a real treat every time you got to go and talk to these guys. And it's not that it's not now. It's just it's kind of like this game of how do I bait them into saying anything interesting, right? And it's nearly impossible now. And it really doesn't matter the coach. So you've got like Dabo, Gundy's still Gundy. There's guys out there who will talk. Like Matt Rule can't stay out of his own way. Right, there are guys out there who will say something interesting. So this isn't a completely blanket statement, but it's pretty damn close. And again, I'm writing this weekend and I'm thinking, what happened? What changed from like the Hayden Fries of the world who would just talk and enlighten you and entertain you and just, all that stuff. And it's one of those deals where I think every single one of us in the media and every single one of you who is on social media, we all have to look in the mirror to some extent. fans used to get mad at coaches in the 90s. Fans would be pissed. But the only time the coaches would find out about it is their wife would listen to the post-game call-in shows, right? Like Sound Off on 1040 or whatever that was for your perspective team. Like day-to-day sports talk radio wasn't really prevalent at that point. It was starting to become a thing, but not nearly to where you didn't have these like local stations and media like you do now. Like the big markets had sports talk, but if you weren't New York, Boston, it was pretty tough. It just wasn't really an industry then. Now, so what happened to make all of these coaches so uninteresting? They're not uninteresting people, but they are when they get on the stand. They are when they get up there behind their little pulpit and they're looking down upon us. You know, they do that. It's a psychological thing with press conferences from way back in the day. They put them up high. They put us down low. It's a sign of power. You know, the minions in the media were sitting there like raising our hand. Will you please call on me? Please call on me. So here, this is my educated guess as to what happened here along the way. And it's really quite simple. So this thing called Twitter comes along, and a guy like me is sitting in the front row at a Paul Rhodes press conference. And Paul Rhodes could talk for 45 minutes. Okay. Well, at the time, you know, and this is when Twitter's kind of starting out, and I've got a big following. Like a lot of Iowa State fans are following me. And if I would have taken out of 45 minutes, I could take 2 sentences without context of what Paul Rhodes had to say. And that could be my coverage of the press conference for whoever decided not to watch the full thing in its entirety later on, or not to read the entire transcript, assuming that got posted somewhere. I know we used to always do that at Cyclone Fanatic, but that's just one example. And first of all, you realize how unfair that is to the coach, right? Like, there's no dictation. There's really no context. Just completely lacks context when we did that. So we start doing that, and then that's what the fans are taking from it. Media can frame it in a way where it doesn't even have the same meaning as how the coach meant it. So that starts happening. And then the fans start retweeting it and tossing it around. And then an opposing fan base picks it up, right? Like it's very, I think the media got pretty disingenuous with this, turns them off a little bit. Well, then video comes into the play, right? And we've seen this even, like a great point. I thought Keith Murphy made a great point on Murph and Andy Monday about the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese situation from last Saturday, where all we're seeing in the media, like watch like the first takes, and all we are seeing is Caitlin Clark's flagrant foul on Angel Reese. That was called a flagrant foul. Angel reacts, yada, yada, yada. There's not a lot of outlets showing Angel Reese with the 2-arm shove in the back of the Fever player right before that. Context matters, right? Context matters. And now we're getting into a point now with social media where, and we've had conversations at Iowa Everywhere about this, how to be better than this. You know, how to not fall into the algorithm trap of 2025, where we will put out these clips, and this is not just us, it's happening all over the world. And like, what do you have as the headline of the clip? Because the more intoxicating that headline is, the more people will click on it, and then they will take in their content, and then they'll see your advertisers, and it's an entire cycle. So again, I'm philosophically thinking about this over the weekend. What in the hell happened? Because it's not like men of a certain, and I say men because I'm talking about football coaches here. Certainly basketball coaches are the same way. I'm kind of focusing on football because I was writing about McCarney and Leach and whatever. But they're not the only generation who had witty, funny people who got into coaching. They exist. But I'm reminded of one time what a coach said to me, a D1 head coach said to me, because I always given him a hard time about injuries and withholding injury information. Coach said to me, and it's kind of hard to argue with, right? Why would I give that up if I don't have to? Was the point he made to me. Like he's being respectful. Yeah, I understand you want this information and the fans want this, but why would I get my only job here is to win games? That's the only thing that these people judge me on is if I win games. Okay. Why would I go out of my way to give a competitive advantage to my opposition? Now, you can argue that it's not that much of a competitive advantage, whatever, but even if it's a slight one, his point is, why would I give that up? And I think about it and I'm like, yeah, it's a really damn good point. I don't think I would either. Okay. So what we've done culturally to these coaches now with again, the media, and if you're watching or listening to this on Iowa Everywhere and you've tweeted about, your favorite team, Iowa or Iowa State, you're contributing to this, because even if you're not a member of the media, even if that is not your profession, every single one of you that has a follower who actively pays attention to what you have to say, you're an influencer, you're influence opinion of some sort. So if I'm a coach and I'm a PR person for one of these guys now, what am I gaining by going on a Tuesday press conference and being bombastic about the competition? I have nothing to gain. Yeah, easy it is to just clip something and it's all of a sudden bulletin board material for the other team. And that's my experience. Like with Matt Campbell's a great example, and I know Matt very well, and I really like Matt. He is an incredibly interesting person. He is a fascinating human. But you don't see that generally on Tuesdays. Now, if you get him going on football, he will give you great football answers. He really will. And he's getting to the point where I think Ferentz got there a few years ago, where he's been somewhere long enough. Pollard's been this way forever. We're blessed to have Jamie Pollard. He's always giving you clips. But where these guys where they've been somewhere for long enough where it's kind of like, yeah, what are you going to do? Fire me? And then there'll be a lot more interesting. And I think Ferentz has kind of gotten there. And I'm starting to get this sense that Matt Campbell's getting there too. It's like, what are you going to do? Like, my record stands for itself. Run a clean program. We're winning games at a level that has never been seen here before. Graduate players, got players in the end. What are you going to do? Fire me? So I do think Matt's getting to that point. But again, this is a bigger picture conversation. Like, that is like the only way I see us getting out of this is that these coaches are just these places long enough where they're just like, screw it, I'll say whatever the hell I want. But if you're like a young coach, what do you? So but then let's say Williams, you be the PR person. What do you advise these guys to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Like, it's all fun and games when you're winning. It's when you're losing, you damn well better be liked. And even that is not enough all the time. Paul Rhodes was very well liked. He still got fired. Okay. So it doesn't always mean anything, but throw caution to the wind on Ben McCollum and TJ Otzelberger, young coaches in our state. Otzelberger's gone to 4 NCAA tournaments in a row. Very well liked. So probably not a great example. This would be my advice to Ben McCollum. Do every interview, smile, be well liked. Like Fran McCaffrey's a great example. I'm sorry, I can't believe I just looked past that. He wasn't well liked. He was going to NCAA tournaments pretty regularly. But man, you hit a couple of bad seasons. If you're not well liked, they'll kick you to the curb. Fran McCaffrey was liked as much as Kirk Ferentz is. He would still be the head coach at the University of Iowa. It's a perfect example. Right? So you can't be to the point where you're like standoffish. You have to give them something. You don't do these interviews for the media. You don't do press conferences for the media. You're performing for your fan base and recruiting. That would be my advice to every single one of these coaches. Take it like that. That's how you look at this. I don't know if you guys find this interesting, but again, like my mind, I just dove deep into this weekend, and that's what I came up with. We did this. How do we get ourselves out of it? I don't know. I think as long as social media is prevalent, which it's not going away, as long as we're clipping things, and I get pissed at this. People will do this with me all the time, where I do an hour show, and you take 2 sentences of what I said completely out of context, and then you completely frame me and you post it on, oh, look what William said. Oh, it pisses me off. So I can level with these guys. We have to be better as media. I don't have the belief that like fans in general across the scope of the planet will ever be better. And I don't really have that faith in the media either. Frankly, I've kind of lost that across the board. We're just not that good in our industry anymore. We're more about being interesting and being entertaining than we are doing that, which is unfortunate, but it's the reality. I'm just giving you what I actually think here, and I think that we got a long way to go to ever get back to that point. But the tools that are there now do not encourage you to. Let's take the most boring, substantial thing that Matt Campbell said today, and I'm going to put it on a tweet. No, you go for, oh, well, that's interesting. Boom. 2 sentences. Let's watch it. Oh, the light's going to light up. Neat. Other thing that I was going to touch on today, this has nothing to do with sports. It really pisses me off. Can we talk about the tipping problem that we have in this country? I've been wanting to talk about this with Hassel for months. Maybe we can pick this up on Thursday. I am so annoyed. Every fucking place that I go now. Do I really need to tip everywhere for everything? Everywhere you go, if it's like a convenience store, I'm going to buy a Red Bull. I'm going to give a 15% tip to what? The hell am I tipping? Like that guy literally it's like same thing they did 10 years ago. Why am I required to tip them now? And I don't. Oh, it's been sticking in my craw for a while now. We got a major problem in this country because I think what's happening, I'd be curious to know if these people are actually getting paid less because these companies are now because I think most people are too lazy to click no on the tip thing. I think it's 60 cents. Okay, yeah, I'll do it. Like, are these people actually getting paid more is what I would like to know. Because I do value their work. We need these people in these service industries. It's a really important thing in our society. And they often get kicked around and are undervalued. This is not an attack on them. This is an attack on their bosses. You're just taxing us so you don't have to pay your people as much. That's my belief, for the most part. Again, not a blanket statement. I don't know why, if I want to buy a 6-pack of beer on the way home at Casey's, why that thing is asking me to tip the person who is checking it out. I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense to me. Like, and I have a hard time. It's like, okay, I went to Subway over the weekend. That sumbitch made that sandwich right in front of me. I watched him do it. I watched him. And I tipped him. I did. I was, okay, you can have 15%, whatever. Because I watched you do it. But you didn't ask me for that 10 years ago. Like, what changed there? Is it just the technology where you can just grab, like, oh, that's an extra, get 15% more from this guy? What about McDonald's? Like, but I'm not physically watching this guy make the burger. But he is doing the work, but it's of my opinion that giant ass publicly traded company McDonald's should pay that guy 15% more, not me. Everything already costs me more. So why do I have to tip more now? If I'm sitting at a nice restaurant, if I'm an either or, I am completely comfortable tipping that waitress or waiter more. Inflationary times, I'm the one going out to dinner. She did a great job. Absolutely, I'm going to tip you well. Is that the case at Taco Bell? Should I be required to pay the cook in the back who I never make eye contact with more? Is that on me or is that on Taco Bell? I would love your guys' thoughts on this. This has been bothering me for months, maybe years, and it will not go away. It's more of a thing now than ever. Everywhere you go, they're asking you to tip them. And again, my question would be, are they actually seeing more money? Are these people in the service industry seeing that money, or are they being paid less because the corporations are counting on us idiots to just blindly give them more money? It's a tax. Nothing more than, in my opinion, it's a tax. I'm an old man now. What the hell happened to me? I'm going to go have myself a bottle of, I won't drink the whole bottle, but I'm going to have a glass of Steeple Ridge bourbon tonight. Thanks to them for sponsoring, of course, the Channel Seed Studios as well. That's your little monologue for this week here. CW Pod, each and every week on Iowa Everywhere. My name is Chris Williams. Have a great rest of your week. We've got Murph and Andy coming up on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. You can join us live out on the patio tour at Wellman's in West Des Moines on Friday. I'm going to stop by and shake some hands and hang out at that as well. Later. Have yourself a great week.